All right, so in keeping with the flatting process as we go, so far I have these three colors flatted in, and not perfectly, and that's okay, because it can be adjusted later, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, now I want to show you kind of an easier way you can set up your workflow. So I've just opened up these two files in Photoshop. One that has kind of my flatting palette, which has very distinct colors. Those are the two that I wouldn't use because they're not that distinct, but I tend to be able to select all of these individually with some good results using my magic wand. So to have two next to each other in Photoshop doesn't work very well because I have to work back and forth. So instead I'm going to say window arrange, and I want to say 2 up vertical, especially because my painting is vertical. And then I can slide the border here, and I can take this one and use my shortcut Command minus, and then I can work between them much more easily. So for instance, if I want to do the handle on my flat colors, everything else is locked, I can just kind of draw the shape that I think will work. But these are actually all contained shapes, so better yet, I'll go to black line work, I'll zoom in, and with anti-alias checked and contiguous checked, I'm going to hold down Shift and just hit all of these little spots. Whoops, careful not to hit the black. It selects from the point of the magic wand. And I'm going to fill these all in with a flat color. This might be a slightly different flat color, so let me fill that in first. I think it might be nice to have a red there, so I'll use my paint bucket, hold down Option to select a color, then be on my flat color layer. Good thing I had it locked there. Fill them all in. Now I might use my paintbrush, which is done at 100% opacity. It's nice and large and pretty hard. And I'm going to choose a different color for that, maybe the purple. Remember, this is just for flatting. I can always change these colors later. The important thing is that each color is distinct and easy to select on its own. Okay? Same thing for the hand, the glove, the armor, the robe, all of that. I think I might, let's see, make all of that this green for now. So let me just choose that color, then paint with it. So the armor glove, and here I'm just painting behind it. I have a lot of line work to kind of fit it behind. The knuckles. Anything that's of that same local color. So anything that's the armor and the gauntlet should be in this color. Okay, that's his hand kind of thrusting out. So let's see what those flat colors look like now. Just like that. You know, some are more precise because I used the magic wand and the paint bucket, but it doesn't matter as long as it's behind the black line work. This is lumpier because I just used the brush. You can get the thumb in there too. And the wraparound of that thumb. All right. Now let's see the cloak behind. Well, this might be another good place for wet asphalt. Or even a different color, maybe this blue. And for that, I'm going to go to the magic wand. So that's just kind of the opening of his robe. Or this kind of, I don't know, this negative space behind his hand and the glove. I have to pick a color for it. I was thinking I'd keep it the same as that smoke color. And actually, yeah, I've decided I do want to do that. So paint that in. Notice how important it is to have the black line work layer locked so you don't accidentally try to paint on it. It also helps that it's a smart layer and it shouldn't let you edit it without asking your permission first. Okay. Well, this is what we have so far. We're going to keep going. Okay, next I want to do these small flames here and all the small flames. And if I'm unsure about how I want to color them, you can always look for reference. So, flames, graphic, poster, I don't know, let's see, images. So it seems like, and this is what I think of most with flames, they're brightest at the base. You know, starting almost white, and then going to yellow, and then going to darker colors at the edges. That kind of thing doesn't look so much like flames as hair. So that's what I'm going to keep in mind. But again, I'm just picking flatting colors, so they don't need to be the ones I keep. But it's helpful if they're close. So for these really small flames, I'm going to go with a bright yellow. But I want it to be distinct from this yellow. So I might just really quickly select all these yellows and change them to something else. Let's see, maybe the light blue I was thinking of. And now, because there's so many openings here, I'm not going to use the magic wand for this. I'm just going to use the brush. I'm going to pick this really bright yellow for this. I might make my brush a little bit smaller. It's okay if I don't get it perfect. It can be fixed later if I have the time. Right now I'm just trying to get my flats done. Now if I'm working for a coloring house, for a design firm, for a digital artist, and I'm working doing flats, I do want to make sure they're perfect before I turn them in. That's the quality of your workmanship. But because I'm finishing this project for myself, I can decide what level of finish I need to complete before I move on. And the benefit of this split screen setup is that I can easily just hold down the space bar and move along. And I can even paint over flats I've done before very easily, even though it's all on one layer, right? Like so. The whole goal is to get all of the white space as much as possible covered. Filled in with a flat color that can later be easily selected and adjusted. After that, we'll be able to add highlights and shadows to that flat layer. Another method I sometimes use is I'll just use my paintbrush in the flat color layer. To kind of fill in a shape. Just outline around it, and then I'll use the paint bucket, because I've contained that now, to fill in whatever's in the middle. Alright. So I'm going to want some more of these yellow flames, I think, down here. Again, I decide their shape, even though it's not outlined. This is where I get to make some creative decisions. Just with color without an outline. Kind of make a graphic shape here. Because the base of the fire at the water should be pretty darn strong. Then I'll probably be brightening it up a lot. before I'm finished. Okay, just like I can use a paintbrush, I can use my eraser. It has similar opacity and hardness settings on the brush tip. Oops. So I can cut away. I can also steal a color for myself. So I cut down on this shape a little bit, play with it. I can do that. Yeah, that works okay. Now the next fire color, maybe this orange. Save my work as I go. There we go. Hold down Option, let go of it. Let's see. Again, the lines are starting to fail. The outlines are very broken here. But I'm just looking for a flat color to get me started. This is one where I will outline around on the edges of the shape, make sure it's all contained, closed in, then use the paint bucket just to fill in within. Like so. And you hit it a few times to make sure all those little edges are filled. That's a nice way, instead of having to repaint that edge, I can use the magic wand just to get up next to that yellow, but I have to make sure it's all contained. Adding a little of my own creative license here along this edge. All right. So it's open there. It's not fully contained. So I'm going to draw the orange down into the yellow just a bit so it is contained. See, and that allows me to use my paint bucket. Drop it in there, drop it in here, clean it up. I might see little yellow spots I missed with my brush, little orange spots I missed, but it's probably covered up by the line work anyway, so it doesn't matter. Then things I want to get rid of now, I can just select easily because it's all one color and just delete it. As long as it's not touching anything else. For some reason I kind of like that there, so I'll leave that there. All right, to do the flatting on the other side, some big flame forms here. So I'm going to try to knock those out pretty quickly using the same method. Save my work before I get started. Try to accurately, but not stress little mistakes. Outline around the edges. Notice I've zoomed out because I'm covering a lot of area here. These billowing orange flames. Just take it up into the yellow, but then the yellow contains that line for me. I haven't done the cloak yet, so I need to fill in that line. The blue and the gray do that job for me, so that should all be contained. I just need to contain the top. So what do I mean by contained? Oh, it's not quite contained yet. Push it all the way up. Make sure that's sealed off.